Assalamualaikum and welcome to the next video of arithmetic progressions. In the last class I had said that there are few problems which require factorization, and there is a separate chapter called as quadratic equations in which you learn how to do factorization and we'll solve the problems. But let us recall that we had done a chapter called as polynomials in 9th standard last year, and in that you had something called as quadratic polynomials, right? A polynomial whose degree is 2, if you remember what a quadratic polynomial is. There's linear polynomial with highest power or degree as 1, quadratic polynomial highest degree is 2, and cubic polynomial highest degree is 3. So if you remember the basics of that, there's something called as quadratic polynomial. Similarly, there's something called as quadratic equation also. So we have learned how to do the factorization of quadratic polynomial in 9th standard. Based on that, it will be easy for us to recall how to do factorization of quadratic equations. So I'll be doing the problems now itself, and when we do quadratic equations, it will be more clear to you. So I'll continue with two problems that were remaining in this main, and let us see how to find the solution of the given problem. So the problem here on the board is the value of A is 2, value of B is 8, Sn is 90. We should find what is n and an. Okay. So to begin with, let me make use of Sn formula because Sn is mentioned. Sn is equal to n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Okay, so this is the formula. In place of Sn I have 90, so I will write 90 is equal to n by 2 into 2, the value of a is also 2, plus n we don't know, n we are finding out, n minus 1 into d is 8. Now 90, this divided by 2 comes here, it becomes into 2 is equal to n into 2 2s are 4 plus n minus 1 remains as it is into 8. 92s are 180 is equal to n into 4 plus. Now I should multiply this 8 with n minus 1. I will multiply 8 with n first. 8 into 8, n is 8n minus 8 ones are 8. 8 I have multiplied with n, then I have multiplied 8 with 1. So 8 into 1 is 8n minus 8 ones are 8. Now 180 is equal to n into, I will write 8n first because 4 and minus 8 are remaining. This is like plus 4, plus into minus is minus. 8 minus 4 is 4 and 8 is greater number, I get minus 4. I have written 8n. Then I have two constant values, that is 4 and minus 8. Minus 8 plus 4 is minus 4. 8 is the bigger number, so we get negative sign. Now I should multiply this n with the bracket. N into 8n will be 8n square minus n into 4 will be 4n. I hope you have understood this up to here. So what I will do is I will shift this plus 180 to the other side, it becomes minus 180. So 8n square minus 4n I already have. Plus 180 on coming to the other side becomes minus 180, and now here nothing will be remaining because 180 we have taken on the other side, so it becomes is equal to 0. Now that is equal to 0, instead of writing here, I can write here also is equal to 0. Okay. So let us see what you have done, because from here the most important steps begin, and this is, I tell you what this is. So a is 2 and d is 8, Sn is 90. We should find out two values n and an. We'll start by finding what is n. To do that, let us make use of Sn formula. Sn is equal to n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Sn value is 90 is equal to n as it is divided by 2. You substitute the values. 92s are 180 n. Now 2 2s are 4. Now you multiply 8 with n minus 1. 8 into 8 is n is 8n minus 8 ones are 8. Now 180 is equal to n. 8n you can write as it is. Plus 4 minus 8 will be minus 4. 180 is equal to n into 8n. 8n square minus n into 4 will be 4n. 8n square minus 4n plus 180 on taking to the other side becomes minus 180. Is equal to, there is nothing here, so is equal to 0 will be remaining. Now instead of writing is equal to 0 here, it could also be written on the other side of the equation. Now whenever you have an equation, you should see what is the highest power of the equation. So the highest power is this one, anything that comes from the variable. So if there is no power here, the power can be taken as 1. Now this is highest or this is highest? Of course this is highest because the power is 2 here. And what do we call them as? If we speak in terms of polynomials, any any polynomial with degree 2 or highest power as 2 is called as quadratic polynomial. I hope you remember something from last year. Similarly, if we have an equation, what is an equation? Anything that is equated to 0. If we have something is equal to something else, if there is equal sign in between, you call it as equation. Okay? And for example, if I have only this much, you will call it as polynomial because it is not equal to anything. So this is a quadratic polynomial. Why this is a quadratic polynomial? Because the highest power is 2. If the highest power is 1, linear polynomial, highest power is 2, quadratic, highest power is 3, cubic. That is the basics of 9th standard that you remember. And we call them as polynomial if it does not have equal sign. But now if I have equal sign and equal to something, then that quadratic polynomial will become quadratic equation. Equation means it should have equal sign. Simple. Now what I should do is I should do factorization of this given quadratic equation and I should find out what will be the value of n. Now to do that, we should always first see, can we make this equation little smaller in quantity, numerical quantities. That means 8, 4 and 180 are bigger numbers. We should see, can we divide these numbers with some common table so that the values can become smaller. Okay. So now if I see 8, 4, 180, all can be divided by 4 because all the values come in the table of 4. So let me make these values smaller. It is not compulsory to make smaller, but if you make smaller, the factorization becomes easier. So what should we do whenever we have a quadratic equation? It is better if we see, can we divide this quadratic equation with some common table in which all the 3 terms will come and you can divide them and make them smaller. So now what I will do, I will divide this entire equation by 4. Okay. So that means if I divide this by 4, divide this by 4 and divide this by 4, whole equation you should divide. So what I can do, I can cancel it. 4 ones are 4, 4 twos are 8. 4 ones are 4, 4 ones are 4, 4 ones are 4, 4 twos are 8, 4 threes are 12, 4 fours are 16, 2 carry, 4 fives are 20. So now my new equation will be 2n square minus 1n, or you can just write n, minus 45. So earlier I had a bigger equation like 8n square minus 4n minus 180. Now if I divide the entire equation by 4, I got a smaller equation. And whenever we have an equation with smaller numbers, it is always easier to factorize. But this is just a choice, it is not compulsory to do. But if you do, it's easy. Now once you have completed this step, please concentrate, it's very very important. I'll rewrite this equation here. I have 2n square minus 1n minus 45 is equal to 0. What we should do now? Now we should think of, okay, I'll tell you the procedure. If try to recall if you remember something. So, okay, you will take the first term and last term you should multiply. The first term is 2 and the last term is minus 45. 2 into minus 45 you should multiply. So 45 twos will be 90. There is minus sign, you will get minus 90. First step is always multiply the first value and the last value, you get minus 90. And what is the middle value? Minus 1. Okay. So first step is multiply first value and last value. You get minus 90. That is 2 45s or 45 twos are 90 along with minus sign. Then draw some arrows and then write minus 1. Now please listen carefully. You should think of two numbers, or you should find out two numbers. If you multiply those two numbers, you should get 90. And if you add or subtract same two numbers, you should get 1 or minus 1. I'll repeat. You will multiply 2 and 45 first. 2 into 45 will be 90. First step. Next is, you will write this middle value here. After doing that, you should find out now two numbers. If you multiply those two numbers, you should get 90. And same numbers, if you add or subtract, you should get minus 1. Understood? Now 90, now what is our first step? 90 comes in which table we should think, right? So 90 can come in a lot of tables. There's one easier table that we remember is 10 9s are 90. Is that correct? 10 9s are 90. And what will be 10 minus 9? 1. So I am getting. So my two numbers that I am going to choose here are 10 and 9. Because 10 9s are 90 and 10 minus 9 is 1. But getting this sign is also very important. Getting this sign is also very important. So now we should decide 10 should get with sign and 9 should get with sign. So what we will do is, this is minus, right? So I will take this as, there are 4 sign combinations always, plus plus, minus minus, minus plus, plus minus, if you remember, right? So if you want, let us begin with plus plus. Let me take plus here also and plus here also. And we should see if these signs are correct. So what is plus into plus? Plus. But I should get minus. That's why if I take plus and plus, it will be wrong. So I can't take plus and plus. Let me go with minus minus. Minus minus. Minus into minus is also plus. But I am getting, I need minus here. So I can't take minus minus as well. Let me take minus plus. Minus into plus is minus. So minus into plus is minus, correct. 10 9s are 90, correct. So up it is satisfying, down let us see if it is getting satisfying. Minus into plus is minus, 10 minus 9 is 1, and it has minus sign. Which is our greater number here? 10. 10 has minus sign and 1 also has minus sign. Okay. So the sign that 10 and 9 should have is minus and plus. Don't worry, we have one separate chapter called as quadratic equation, in which all this will be explained in detail again. But for some problems of AP, you may require some knowledge of quadratic equations. So please try to remember this much, okay? I'll repeat, we write down the equation. Once you have written down the equation, we have to multiply the first value and the last value always along with the sign. Then write the middle value. Then find out 2 numbers. If you multiply those 2 numbers, you should get this value. If you add or subtract the same numbers, you should get this value. Okay, once this is completed, okay, so I'll write the equation again now. 2n squared minus 1n minus 45 is equal to 0. You have learned this in 9th standard, so please try to recall, don't try to, forget everything, because some basics are very important. Now what we should always do is, we should always write the first value as it is, 2n squared. Then instead of writing this middle value, I should write these 2 values along with the variable that is used. What is the variable used? N. In this problem, the variable used is n. So I should, instead of writing the middle value, I should write this value minus 10 along with n plus 9 along with n. And then I should write the last value minus 45 is equal to 0. I repeat, we write the first value and we write the last value. Instead of middle value, I should write these 2 numbers that I found out along with the letter or variable that is used. So why are we writing this in the place of middle value? Just see this much. Minus into plus is minus. 10n minus 9n is 1n. So I'll get back the same. That's why in place of middle value, I can write these 2 values that I have got. Now once this is over, I'll have to make a group of first 2 terms and the next 2 terms. After making the group, I should take out whatever is common. First of all, let us take out the letter or variable that is common. Now n is present in this and n is present in this, so n will be common in first group. Also I should see if there is any number that is common. Number means in any table if both the numbers come, like 2 and 10, in which table do you think it will come? It can definitely come in the table of 2. So I will take out 2 also as common and n also as common. So first of all 2 is common because 2 and 10 come in the table of 2, and n is common because n is present in this term and also in this term. Now I should write whatever is remaining. 2n square minus 10n. In 2n square, 2 is already out, common. In n square, 1n is already out, which is common. So 1 more n will be remaining, correct? Minus, with 2, which number if you multiply, you will get 10? 5, right? 2 5s are 10. So here if I have 2, I should say with 2, which number I should multiply to get 10? So 2 5s are 10. And what about this n? This n is already outside as common. So I get n minus 5. I'll come to second group. Can I take out n common? No, because I have n here but I don't have n here. So n is not common. Now I should say which number can I take out common. Now 9 and 45 can come in the table of 9. 9 5s are 45 and 9 1s are 9. So I'll take out 9 common. Now I'll write whatever is remaining. In 9n, 9 is already out as common. N will be remaining, so I'll write n. Okay? Minus 9, how much are 45? 9 5s are 45. 9 5s are 45 because 9 is already out. Is equal to 0. One thing that you should remember while solving quadratic equation is that whatever I get common here in this bracket, same thing I should get here also as common. It can never be different. This and this should always be same. Now whatever you've got common, write down that one time, n minus 5. And write down whatever is remaining. So n minus 5 is common, I wrote that only one time, over. Now from first term, only 2n is remaining. Okay, n minus 5 already written. And from the second group, n minus 5 is already written, plus 9 is remaining. Is equal to 0. n minus 5 is common, it is written. 2n plus 9 is remaining, so I wrote 2n plus 9. Now what I should do? N minus 5 is equal to 0, I should take one time. And 2n plus 9 is equal to 0. One time n minus 5 is equal to 0. One time 2n plus 9 is equal to 0. Now after that is over, n minus 5 if I take on the other side, it will become plus 5. Okay? So minus 5 if I shift here, leave 0, minus 5 on the other side becomes plus 5. Now 2n is equal to plus 9, if I shift on the other side, it becomes minus 9. N is equal to minus 9 into 2 becomes divided by 2. So I get two values of n. Okay? So n we have found out. But now out of these two values, you should consider only one value of n. And n means number of terms. N means number of terms. There can be like 5 terms, 10 terms, 12 terms, right? So I can't have, whenever I speak about n, I can't have a negative value and I can't have fraction also. So I should ignore this value and I should take only this value of n. N is equal to 5. Okay? So two values of n you will get. You should consider only one value, which is positive whole number, positive integer. You can't take a value that is negative or which is in fraction form. After this is over, you should also find out an. So now to find out an, I think I'll make use of this space. So please be careful, after this it gets continued here, an, okay. Now in place of an, the formula will be a plus n minus 1 into d, correct? N is 5 is equal to a is 2 plus n is 5 minus 1, d is 8. A5 is equal to 2 plus 5 minus 1 is 4 into 8. A5 is equal to, solve this much, multiply 8 into 4, that answer add with 2, you will get the value of A5 also. Please remember, this problem is very different than the other problems that we have done till now. It turns out to be a quadratic equation, and I will explain you the procedure of finding a quadratic equation. And then, after getting the value of n, you should find out an will be 5 and get the answer. I hope you have understood this problem. It's very important. Please try to do it. And I'll also give you one question as homework, which involves quadratic equation, and I want you to try that quadratic equation and get what is the value of n. Okay, so the question is an is equal to 4, d is equal to 2, Sn is equal to minus 4, n and a you should find out. Okay, so what I will make use of is, because I have an, I will make use of an formula. An is equal to a plus n minus 1 into d. The value of an will be 4 is equal to a we should find out, n we don't know, and d is 2. So 4 is equal to a plus, if you remember the last problem, we can multiply 2 inside the bracket. 2 into n will be 2n, minus 2 ones are 2. Now 4 minus 2, if I shift it, it will become plus 2, is equal to a plus 2n, right? 4 plus 2 is 6, is equal to a plus 2n. Now 6 plus 2n, if I take it, it will become minus 2n is equal to a. I'll keep this much. That means in place of a, I can write as 6 minus 2n. Concentrate. I've made use of an formula. An is equal to a plus n minus 1 into d. An is 4 is equal to a plus n minus 1 into d is 2. 4 is equal to a plus 2 into n is 2n, minus 2 ones are 2. 4 minus 2 on the other side becomes plus 2 is equal to a plus 2n is remaining. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 2n on the other side becomes minus 2n, that is equal to a. In next when I get a, I can write in place of a as 6 minus 2n. Remember that much. Now I'll make use of Sn formula. Sn is equal to n by 2 into a plus an. Why do you think I am making use of the short formula? Because I already have an value present. If I have an value present, I can always make use of short formula. Sn value is given as minus 4. If you can see here in the question, is equal to n by 2 into a. A we don't know, a we are finding out, plus an we know, an is 4. Okay. Now this divided by 2 can come here. 2 4s are 8, so you'll get minus 8 is equal to n into a I have here. Now here I got the equation of a means 6 minus 2n, that means in place of a I can write 6 minus 2n, 6 minus 2n, then I have plus 4. Here in place of a I wrote 6 minus 2n from this equation. Minus 8 is equal to n into, I can write minus 2n first, then 6 plus 4 is remaining and 6 plus 4 is 10. Minus 8 is equal to n, I can now multiply inside the bracket, n into minus 2n, minus 2n square, n into n will be n square, plus n into 10 will be 10n. Okay, I have minus 8 here, minus 2n if I shift it will become plus 2n square, plus 10n if I shift it becomes minus 10n is equal to 0. Okay, so I have shifted both the terms on the other side. Now the best order of writing is always square term, then this term with single n and then the constant term. So I will write 2n square first, then I will write minus 10n, then I will write minus 8 is equal to 0. Okay, please see what I have done. Minus plus 2n square I wrote first, then I wrote minus 10n because the order is highest power, then lowest power, then constant term. That is the order of writing. Now, as I had discussed in the last problem, you can divide this entire equation by one common table in which all the three numbers will come. Now, 8, 10 and 2 will come in the table of 2, right? So I can divide this entire equation by 2. So if I divide this by 2, 2 1s are 2, 2 1s are 2, 2 1s are 2, 2 5s are 10, 2 1s are 2, 2 4s are 8. So what will be my new equation? Here I will get 1n square minus 5n minus 4 is equal to 0. Now this has become a quadratic equation. Please multiply 1 into minus 4 is minus 4 and minus 5, which is the middle value. Try to solve this and see what values you should get. Get me the value of n and then find out a. Here to find out a, if you just put the value of n, you will directly get a. So this is your homework problem. This is a quadratic equation. I want everybody to try this. Even if you get wrong answers, it's not a problem, but definitely try this. And we'll continue with remaining problems in the next class. Let me know if there are any